Hey, welcome to another episode of the Brad Davidson Show. I'm your host, Brad Davidson. Today, I'm here with Jared Gallo and Jay Gonzalez, two of the masterminds behind The Weight Room, a new class-based gym based in Newport Beach, California. Really excited to sit down with you two and just explore the whole ideas, theories, and purpose behind this new program we've created. I'm also a part of it, but these two guys are the mastermind. I'm just kind of the knucklehead in the background. But guys, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, Brad, for having us.
Yeah. So I really want to start off. I think this is super important. Like, one of my favorite things about you two is how passionate you are about fitness and specifically with other people. What drives that for you two? Like, where did that come from? Because in this industry, that is not typical. Most people are in it for the money, in it for the Instagram influencer and stuff. You guys are obviously in it for the people. And what drove that for both?
Yeah, definitely. I'll go and start a little bit here. So I'd say for me, a lot of it is all behind making an impact in this world and impacting the community. It was one thing that my grandfather instilled in me was having an impact on those around you. And then that got transferred into my parents. And that was always kind of a driving force as I was like being just growing up and the way they raised me in that regard. And it was actually when I had got into this industry was as a client. And for me, I was a kid, was completely out of shape, like had asthma, couldn't run more than a quarter of a mile. And my parents introduced me actually to a trainer who ended up being a mentor of mine later on. So once I saw what he did for me in terms of like the impact of like just allowing me to play high school sports, I was like, wow, that was really cool. I think I want to do that. And he mentored me through college a little bit. And then it was really when I got into college that I had a couple of professors actually tell me, hey, I know you want to be a strength coach. I know you have ambitions to be a strength coach for an NFL team. But what I'd recommend is you actually study psychology. Understand people. The moment you understand people, better of an impact you're going to have, both in their physical results, their mental as well, just seeing progress throughout everything. And that really hit home for me, understanding people on a deeper level than let's just get big, let's get strong, let's get fast. And for me, I got really heavily involved in competing in men's physique shows when I was younger. I looked great. Like I was 3% body fat at one point, competed at the Amateur Olympia, did 8 different shows throughout my whole career. But I was also miserable at the same time. So in understanding, I appreciate what that taught me and everything that along the way, but I had no impact on my clients at that point. They were getting 30% of me. And once I kind of reflected, took a step back, decided, hey, you know what, I'm going to take some time off from this. Business started booming. I started enjoying it even more so. And I went through a lot of different stuff throughout life. I was I experienced a mass shooting when I was at the Vegas Route 91 concert, and that brought me back into fitness even more. Where that was something where I felt like myself again. Where dealing with those traumas and things of that nature allowed me to focus on helping others. Right, so. Sometimes it does take like those big experiences like that. And for me, that's what it was. It was going through that and being like, I really want to give back to people. I really want to make an impact. And I knew for me, it was in the fitness world. Again, I knew I was really good at programming, knew I could make an impact there, but it was also the conversations I could have. Those coaching conversations on a daily that I have with my clients, that I've had with our members of the weight room now. And that's my ultimate why, is now I get to go have an impact on these people and they can make a bigger impact elsewhere as well. And understand these people aren't robots, right? I've written programs for test subjects before and they look great and they didn't work for people because they're humans, not robots, right? So, and just over time, I've just learned that. And again, just as day-to-day interactions, having that impact on someone's life, that's what drives me every day. It lets me get up at 3 a.m. every day and, come to work with you guys and get to see everyone change and, really develop in that regard. So
yeah, love it. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Jared, how about you?
Well, for me, getting into the fitness industry, I was always playing sports at a high level, and I always had a trainer and was always around teams and people. And that was probably the first 26 years of my life. And my stepdad and my mom were there. My stepdad raised me since I was 6, and he was the big reason and why my life kind of changed. I was playing as an amateur golfer, and my stepdad was behind me every step of the way, and he passed away when I was 24. And then it was just kind of, I got to get through my days. And after a couple of years of doing that and helping my mom out around the house, I went towards the direction of numbing myself and trying to get through the day and continue on with my job, which was going to the golf course and see my trainer and all that. And it just slowly went downhill, and put myself through rehab, get my shit back together. And I was thinking, what was I doing? Because when you get out of rehab and you kind of go up and down, and it was what I had to get back to was, what was I doing the first 26 years of my life that I was happy, healthy, strong, all that. And it was like I was around people, a team, and lifting weights or being in the gym. And once I turned myself around, it was probably around like 32, 33, and was going back to the gym. A trainer from the 12 where I worked at, I was like 5 scoops of pre-workout. I had death metal, and I was doing some plyo push-ups on the ground, you know, doing my thing. And she came over and she's like, I want you to come take my class. And I was like, I work in the gym, group fitness. I had no idea. I think it was 2017, right when it was like booming. And I told her I would come. I went. And what I experienced was like the friends that I started to gain there, and the people, the community I was starting to hang around with was just uplifting and enjoyable. And the music, the feeling, the energy in that room changed. And like I would scream, and I had this crazy energy, and they're like, well, you're crazy. We want you to work here. And the people that hired me were like great and on that level. And what I got to experience and grow in that room was, I would walk in and I had 60 people in the room, and it's 10 minutes before class, and they're all around laughing and talking to each other. Like a group fitness room where every single person in that room is engaging and talking to each other and having a good time. And I would just sit back and just like, this is what I enjoy right here. We're going to get a good workout in, but it's like the community and like the good culture. So that's how I kind of got back into it. And then with what we're doing, what I found with, and what I started to learn over the last couple of years with HIIT training boot camps is it stops working after a while. It actually does more harm than good. And went around because I wanted to keep the group training. I wanted to still be able to create what I was able to do before, but I wanted the right training and I wanted the right program. I wanted to see people progress after 2 months, after 3 months, and sustain it. And once I met you guys, you said everything I wanted to hear. And I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. And so far, it's been everything I've wanted. So like, I thank you guys for like seriously bringing me on, because this is like everything I've wanted to do.
Yeah. I'm really excited about it because I grew up in the weight room too. But I always thought classes were silly. Like, oh, they don't know what they're doing in there. I'm not going to do it. And then when COVID hit, shut it all down, I got a job at a gym that had classes. I started watching. I'm like, holy shit, these people are having so much fun. Like, I don't have that in my life. I don't have that community. I want that. So I started taking the classes. I'm like, I love the community, but I can't stand the programming because I knew enough about it and be like, okay, this is devastating. I would take one class and take like a week to recover from it. So at that point in my life, I'm like, somehow, some way, I'm going to meet the right people and create a program that combines the best of the class world, which is the community aspect, the energy, the upliftingness with great programming. And I think that would be absolutely epic. So when I got to know you two, there was a couple things. One, I didn't know either of your backstory, but I knew you had one. I've been through shit, and I know people that have been through it. You can feel it and you can sense it. I remember telling myself, the people that I meet that I'm going to do this with, they're going to have been through some shit, and they're going to have overcome it, and they're going to have come back, and they're going to be living for a bigger purpose. And I didn't know your backstories, but after hearing it, I'm like, holy shit. I knew it was there. Thank you both for sharing it. I know how much hard that is. But it really comes out in both of you. Like, because people that have been down that rabbit hole and hit rock bottom and had the trauma and had the numbing, all that shit you go through trying to come back, when they do come back, they're the most vicious people on the face of the earth. They have the most energy, the most passion, the most love, and the most to get back to the world. So thank you guys for sharing that and bringing that. So I'm gonna start again with you, Jay.
Yeah.
This dude is the most wicked mind I've ever met in the world of program design. I love it. I have my pro athletes in there, and I tell Jay, I'm like, anytime I got anybody, you see something, you say something. And he'll just come in and he'll know something, see something, start talking about something, and he leaves the room, and my athletes are always like, who in the hell was that guy? He's so damn smart. What the hell is your background in fitness? Like the fact that I get to sit and learn from you, and you're like half my age, and you're so wicked smart. What is your background? How did you learn all this stuff? Like, I hope people understand, like, this is the guy I go to when I got questions about myself, my training, when I want in-depth analysis, what I'm trying to do personally, this is the guy I go talk to. So the fact that I get to write programs with him for all of our people, it's just an amazing experience for me, but I don't even know your background.
Yeah.
I just know you're wicked smart.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I've been in the fitness industry now for, 11 years. It's kind of crazy to think about. But again, I went to school for a lot of this, went to Cal State Fullerton here, got my kines degree there in strength and conditioning and exercise science, with also an emphasis in psychology there. So, I learned, again, a tremendous amount under like Dr. Galpin there. I learned a lot under Dr. Brown as well, from the strength and conditioning world. In terms of programming wise, honestly, a lot of it came from self-study afterwards, and just experiencing and programming for myself, programming for others. And like I said, I competed in many shows, so that taught me a lot about different hypertrophy training, learning how to put on as much size while cutting at the same time. And again, just maximizing muscle growth itself. And coming from a sports performance background, I also interned at a local place over here that was called Stars when I was in college. So that's where I got a lot of my sports performance background from, and learning, again, under one of my mentors there that I was mentored by for, over 5 years. And that really allowed me to understand athletes. Because going into that, I really understood bodybuilding, hypertrophy. I studied all the best coaches out there, from anything that was like Paul Quinn to Charles Glass to even like Hani Rambod now, like all these guys that are like huge in the hypertrophy world, and understand what do they do to maximize size. And when I got to Stars is when I was exposed more to things from Kilo. And that understanding that aspect with some other things I learned from a few of the other sports performance gyms in the area, mixing and matching. What did I like? What didn't I like? Understanding like the why behind the bigger concepts as well. Allowed me to get a little more creative with my programming. Because like I said earlier, like what I realized a lot was it was easy to write a program for a fake person. It was really hard to write a good program for someone when their life was changing so much, and understanding the things that were going on outside their life. In the moment when I learned that, I was actually at Equinox at that time. And again, I felt really comfortable with my programming. They sent me to a lot of different classes. Like I have a kettlebell certification. I have Viper certifications. I have pre-postnatal. Like they've sent me to precision nutrition. Like again, it was great. I had so many extra continuing education while working at Equinox that it really built up even more of a base, gave me more tools for my toolbox. And one thing that I appreciated a ton while working there was that they prioritized a lot about just like movement and understanding. It all comes down to anatomy, understanding how the body moves and what the muscles, their actions are, right? So once I understood that, I started to understand even more so like if someone's having this issue or that, why is this not working? Why is that not responding? It was easy for me to make those corrective adjustments. And again, I even pursued at that point becoming like corrective exercise specialist. So I now had the rehab aspect involved into my training. So again, really just taking a little bit from all these different sectors and understanding them and then seeing how does this apply to my demographic. Again, I thought it was going to be like next greatest NFL strength coach. I actually realized like that's actually not what I want to be at all. I prefer working with general public way more than that. It's way more fulfilling. And don't get me wrong, I love working with the athletes as well, but it's way more fulfilling when I hear about a client that, they're just on ski weekend, they have all this confidence coming back from an ACL tear, or they can now go and run with their kids. They're doing all this different stuff that it's way more fulfilling to me than working with some athletes at the professional level, because it's a bigger picture for them, right? Like it's affecting their life as a whole. So again, when it comes to that background of training wise, it's a lot of self-study, a lot of time spent looking up different like coaches, what's their philosophies, how are they progressing, what does that look like, and just keeping that in my toolbox. And actually one of the bigger things I've done recently that's helped me a ton was actually understanding things from, recently got certified in cup therapy, and being able to do that and understanding how cupping and scraping can benefit the body, but even understanding now how the fascial slings are all connected, right? And I'll use like an example the other day when you had one of your athletes in the gym and, just looking at him real quick, seeing his hips rotate and being like, okay, this is probably going on. And then finding out, oh, okay, he was actually a hurdler. That makes sense. Like this is probably what's going on. That's why that leg's so stable. This one doesn't stabilize quite as hard because of that past experiences. And it's not because of an injury, but it's the way he was performing before, and things like that. So, and that's also like for me, the art of programming, of being able to see how can we get everyone to their goal in the most efficient way possible, where they also enjoy it too. And again, like that's where I get to nerd out on it and have fun. And that's where it's easy for me to do that and just sit there, and it just comes to me of like, oh, okay, cool. This is what we're going to do next. This is what this phase will look like. And I've gotten really good at making people's bodies change. But again, that also comes from the conversations I have. It's not just, I can write a great program, but it's understanding my clients, as a whole too. So
you nailed it. The art of programming. I wish people understood the golden ticket to success and getting the body to change or move or do specific things all comes down to the programming. I've studied it now for, almost 30 years and realized I probably have more left to learn than I know. It's like this endless topic, and there's all these great minds. So I love that you jump in and like study everyone, and then, like you said, nerd out on it. Because there's science behind it. There's also the art of it. It takes so long. I wish you guys could just sit in a room as we're talking about programming and the periodization of the programming and hear the conversations that go on, so you get an idea of how in-depth these things are. And what happens is we implement a program, and then we're watching. Jared's giving feedback on how people are doing, what's going on. Jay's peeking his head in there, I'm peeking my head in there. And then we're adjusting and planning ahead of time. It's all in the art of programming. It is really hard to make someone work really hard and feel like they did something great. Like that might be the easiest thing in the world to do. I guarantee you if the three of us took 10 people in a room, we could have all of them puking within probably 25 minutes. Easily. That doesn't mean it's great. To create change over time, and one of the things I love about like Jay's programming is he understands how to change how the body looks, but he also understands movement at a high level. And that's one of the big things that we want to give people at the weight room is the ability to move really well, to live life at a very high level and look good. So it's a great mix. If you've never taken a class with Jared, this is an experience. I had never seen him or like seen him in his environment before we opened up the weight room.
I know you guys didn't get to come over and
no.
see it for real.
I've always seen the videos. It does not do it justice.
Usually dressed up too. Yeah. So.
But I'll tell you what, it's something magical. Like it's magical. I think it's so magical now that like at least twice a week I jump in and take the class. That's how much I believe in what you guys are creating in the world that we have there. Is I believe in these two so much that I want to be a part of it. I want to be the mix of it. The programs we're writing for you guys are the exact programs that I want to be doing. They fit my demographic perfect. I'm 48. I want to move well. I want to look. I want all those things. And I know that's what these two are preparing and giving to everyone every day of the week. Where in the world is that just you, like naturally you, or have you spent a lot of time developing that? I mean, your ability to connect with people, motivate people, inspire people. I've seen people walk in that gym in the dumps and walk out skipping, high-fiving people. Like, that's magical, man.
I don't know. I think it's always been in me. When I got hired at the 12, every trainer, that was the best thing. And I've gone to other gyms and experienced other trainers. But when I was there and the people I learned under, everybody was different. Everybody had different characteristics. Everybody had a different style, and I picked it was like, do you want to be good? Then copy or do whatever you can to be like the trainers that are filling their classes. So I would wake up early. I would go sit and observe or take class, and I would, from 3 different trainers, and I would just pick and prod. Oh, they said some funny things, and that livened the class up a bit. Oh, they're really good on focusing on form and putting hands on people, and then this person's really good at energy and being bigger than the room and being bigger than 60 people and being able to control them. And I picked from these best people and I tried to put them together, and it allowed me to be in that room. It allowed me to be myself, but let a little bit more out. Be a little bit crazy. Don't be afraid of screwing up. Like, embrace that. I'm not perfect. Not everybody's not perfect. I'm not good at a lot of things. I just embrace it and I don't try to cover it up, and I just speak from all the crap I've been through. Like, I'm not just saying things to say it. I'm not trying to fill the air. I'm speaking from somebody told me that, or I had to go through it. So it's like, when I'm in there, I'm in there 100%, and I'm thinking about it before class. I'm thinking about it after class, what I could have improved on. I want to make it the best experience. I was told, when you come into a group class, the member wants to feel successful, included, and acknowledged. Saying their name, checking up on them from across the room if it is, but it's just making people feel engaged and they're included. And if you can do that, you'll keep people for years. But I want to keep people for years in the right program, not keep them for years in the wrong program. So that's my goal now.
You know, you epitomize this. I don't know if you've heard this, but when you've been to rock bottom, they say one of the most powerful things you can do is to become the person you need at that point and give that to other people. I see that in you a lot. We live in a day and age where people are miserable, they're depressed, they're sad, they're hurting, they don't know where to go. You epitomize that. Like, and your ability to bring that is beautiful.
And we're both fathers. We have, kids and a life, and things are going from where I was very privileged, had everything kind of given to me, and I was very lucky. And now I don't take that. I'm going to instill different things on my kids because of the way I was very privileged. They'll have it a little bit harder, but I want to give back. That's it's like deep inside of me. However I can do it, I'm going to do it. So that's what I'm here for. And now in the fitness industry, this is when people can play with their kid, like you said, like run around and play with their family, like be down in a squat with their kid or lift their kids over their head and whatever they're doing. Like, that's my goal. Like, for me, myself as well, is just to be strong for my family for the rest of my life.
I was at a volleyball tournament a while back, and they're high school girls, and the outside hitters they're big. And this girl hurt her ankle and was out, and she was laying on the ground, crying, all that stuff. And I watched her father walk over, talking to her, and the dude just bent down, just picked her up, and carried her out of the gym. I'm like, that will always fucking be me. Like, I will always be able to pick them up and carry them out when they need that. And most people can't do that. And most people that are highly trained in cardiovascular conditioning, that's awesome. They can't do that. Like, I love that we're creating a world of, if you got to do that, you can do that. If you got to go out and run for miles, are people going to be able to do that? That's the whole point of how do you create a system that engages all of that? The strength, the power, the endurance, all those things, and to look good. And that's what we're trying to do. Jay, what's your biggest thing, your biggest goal for people from this program? I'm going to ask both of you this question. So Jared, you can think about it a little bit too.
I would say my biggest goal for these people is to have fun while also seeing a result that they're looking for, right? So that's going to be completely different for each person, right? So just optimizing themselves. What does that look like, right? So, and I've had the opportunity to talk to a few members about this of what are you trying to do, right? What's that next step? What is your deeper why, right? And understanding that. So ultimately, I want people to come in, experience the class, with Jared and have fun with it, and ultimately be able to feel like, hey, I'm optimizing myself. So whatever that looks like for each person, and it's going to be unique. And again, for them to be able to leave and be like, wow, I feel great. Whether it's physically, mentally, whatever it might be that day. You know, we've even had a member show up even though she wasn't even able to work out, right? Because she just wanted to be a part of the community. That's great to me, you know, being able to have that type of impact. And again, it's one thing that I've always kind of lived by is aspire to inspire. So as long as we're doing that, we're going to create change in a positive way.
Yeah. How about you, Jared? What's your big goal or hopes from this thing?
My big goal.
I mean, you've taken some big risks.
It goes a lot. It goes with
to step into this. You've taken some big risks.
Well, you know, when I decided to do this, I went and talked to certain different people about different places I wanted to go to. But you guys were saying the right things. Nobody else was saying what I was learning over the last 2 years. These were the only guys that were saying it, and so it's like, it doesn't matter if it starts out with 2 people or 100. Like, this is right. This is the direction I'm going to go, and it's going to work, like, no matter what. But with me and everybody in class, my goal, what I've seen is the self-confidence. And what's been the biggest thing is when we talk about programming and what we were able to do from infinite to being in the open gym to now in our room, because of what you guys were able to do and how much knowledge you have, we've been still able to stay on track. Everybody has still seen progress. And we didn't have the pendulum. I'll bring this up because this was the big thing. We didn't have the pendulum machine. And when we first were using it, we had body weight. We had 5 pounds on there, 7.5. Everybody jumped back on it, and they have 25 pounds, 30 pounds, 45. Sam, I don't know what he's got on there.
He's probably got 3.
Yeah,
I know him.
But it was the seeing the realization in them. They're like, oh my God, I'm so much. Everybody. It was just the first. Besides looking at it and seeing what you've been tracking, feeling it, feeling the change. I am so much stronger now. It was just that, like, every single person in class is stronger, and that was the first kind of realization where they saw it as well as felt it. So that was like just seeing like their self-confidence. All the women they were at 33-pound bars. Every woman is not scared. They're getting under the 45-pound bars, loading weights, and just getting after it. And that carries over into life and how you handle things and being independent and making your own choices out of life. You get dependent if you're not strong and weak, and then once you're able to make your own choices and do things for yourself, it makes you free. So
I believe that nobody wants to be skinny and depleted feeling. Everyone wants to be leaner and empowered. That's what I think. That's what I love seeing that. My favorite part of the class, and when we moved in the new room, I blocked out time to start taking the class to everyone because I was dying to get back in there. My favorite part was how many women in that class whooped my ass in a number of exercises. It was a little hard on my ego, but I'm like, this is awesome. Like, this is the whole point of this. Like, this is the whole, like, you know, when you're a part of that and you want to empower people to see that, I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. Yeah. No, it's awesome. And to see some of them be able to do exercise I can't even do. Like when I saw that video posted Sabrina doing the 2 Nordic, I'm like, I can't even do one. I'm like, holy cow, this is amazing. So I thank you guys for like teaming up with me. I thank you guys for bringing your wonder, your joy, the amazing tools you have to the table. I just want to ask, last question. What is one tip you give people listening to this to live a better life?
You go.
I was like, you look like you're about to say something. That's why I was like, all right.
A tip to empower people to live a better life.
I'd just say enjoy the moment. Be present. Whatever it is, whether you're in the weight room, outside the weight room, whatever that is, just enjoy it for what it is as well. We get so distracted about everything else we have going on in life, everything in the past, in the future, whatever it might be. But if you're present in the weight room, you're in direct control of that. So you're in control of your results. You're in control of how you move. That's going to set you up for success later on, that day, the next day, every day after that, as you continue to make that habit. So again, just be present with what you're doing. Be aware of your breath, and have fun with it.
That's coming from a gentleman that survived the shootings in Vegas. I was shocked to hear that.
Yeah, that was again, it was probably from me to you from dying that night. But again,
it'll give you a little different perspective.
Yeah, it's something that I went through, but it's not me. It's not my identity.
Yeah.
And I can talk about it all day long. You know, I deal with my own PTSD stuff with that, survivor's guilt around why I'm alive and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I always tell myself is I get to do this. I get to wake up. I get to go to work. I get to go change people's lives. And that's a gift, right? So to me, every day, as long as I remind myself of that, I'm golden.
Love it.
So,
one tip from you on empowering people to live a better life.
Well, along with being present is just enjoy your friends and family. I've been around every chance you get to be around the people you love or the people that bring you joy. My life completely changed after I had my daughter. And well, I had my stepdaughter, but I had her since she was 5, so I didn't get to go be in the trenches and go through all of it and really see the change. And it's brought me joy and just being present, being engaged with them, I'm not on my phone as much. I try to, because they're watching. I let Lake play around, and I check something on my phone, and she'll just play, and she'll look up and see if I'm watching or paying attention and look back down. So it's me just being present and being aware of what's going on and taking it in, and kind of piggybacking off of what you.
Well, like you said, with having a daughter now, right? Like myself as well, you become more present with it. You appreciate life in a different way, right? Like the moment you have a child, life changes completely. So, and your priorities change, everything like that, the way you operate, the way you think, all of that. So again, that's also combining with all the previous life experiences, add that in there. You just have to be blessed for every day that you have and what you have in front of you, because it's easy to get distracted.
One thing I really enjoy about you two is, because I'm a father also, watching you two with your kids and the way you talk about your kids. There's not enough men like you in the world. So thank you just simply for being you. That's a huge value to me, to be surrounded by guys like you that put their kids first like I do. So thank you for that. Thank you guys for bringing all your energy, your power. Thank you for coming to this today. I know I pulled you guys out of your busy schedules for the day, but I really appreciate you being here. I really appreciate you sharing your whole being behind what we're doing here. And I'm excited to just share the world, that people that follow me, listen to me, be able to meet these two guys. I hint about them, I talk about them, I talk about the program, but I really wanted you to meet them to see why I'm so excited about working with these two and the product we're bringing to the table. So if you haven't checked it out yet, come check us out. The Weight Room in Newport Beach. All right. Again, guys, thanks for showing up. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, bud.
Yep. Thank you guys. Have a great week. And you'll be hearing from me next week.